What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Edgar. So, you want to improve your self-confidence. Self-confidence and belief in yourself are the foundation for trying to set out and reach any of your goals. I mean, think about it. If you really didn't think there was any chance that you could achieve any of your goals, would you even try? Of course not. I mean, I know I wouldn't. What's the point of putting in all that effort for none of the reward? So anything that you ever want to accomplish is going to require some degree of confidence. They go hand in hand. That's actually a good thing though, because research has shown that there's a strong correlation between performance and self-confidence, which means that if you feel confident in your ability to achieve something, you will be able to achieve that thing with less effort or with more skill, to a certain degree of course. But here's the thing, while it's really hard to quantify and put a number on this, it's really thought that only about 1 in 4 people are truly self-confident. And while there isn't a ton of research out there on this subject, the little research that there is shows that something like 80% of people will experience periods of low self-confidence at some point in their life. And that's where you currently are, but you no longer want to be. So you've come to the right place. And I'm not going to sit here and try to tout myself as some expert on this subject, because trust me, I'm far from it. I know a little bit about it because I'm interested in it, so I've done some research. But what I am is a very confident person. At least I like to think so. I mean, I record videos of myself and post them on the internet where literally the whole world can see them and potentially judge me, so I think that requires some confidence. But it's not like that confidence is always there, right? I mean, I wasn't just born confident. I don't wake up in the morning just radiating confidence all the time. There are some things that I do on a regular basis to maintain it. So in this video, I'm going to share 6 tips with you that you can implement today so that you can share in that confidence as well. So without further ado, let's get right into those. Tip number 1, lean into your interests and talents. Now, I mean this in a more practical way than just identifying your strengths, right? What I mean is find the things that you're good at and find the things that you're interested in, and then just do more of those, and you will naturally become a little more confident because you're into these things. Let me explain. One of my best friends is completely introverted, right? He doesn't put himself out there. He doesn't necessarily go out of his way to interact with people or just talk to people on a regular basis. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, it's cool. He's just a quiet dude, but I'm not. I like to talk. So because I've been friends with him for so long, I've been able to figure out how to get him to talk. And the one thing that I've noticed is that even though he's quiet most of the time, if I get him talking about things like Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, the card game, something that he's very interested in, he could talk about it for hours. Likewise, if I get him talking about video game or anime like Dragon Ball Z, you know, we can talk about it all night long. And he knows so much about these things that he radiates confidence when he's speaking about them because he's comfortable in his ability to speak to each one of those things. Now, I'm not saying that he's not a confident guy on a regular basis. You'd have to talk to him about that. Being introverted does not equate to not being confident. But what I am saying is that when he speaks about things that he's interested in or that he's knowledgeable about, he just has this different charisma about him, more confidence. So that's why I think this is very important. Tip number 2 is going to be view everything as a learning opportunity. I recently made a video about 9-to-5s. Well, it's really a whole series, but the one video I'm talking about is about the positive side of 9-to-5s, which there are some, I'll admit that. But in that video, I mentioned that a job is a great learning opportunity. And someone in my comments said that they'd never had a job where they actually learned something, and that most of their jobs involved either teaching or training other people on the tasks. And my immediate thought wasn't, oh, maybe his job just sucked. He didn't have one of those jobs where he learned something. No, maybe what he was meant to learn was how to communicate with others, or how to teach others, or how to train others. The thing is, in all situations, you just kind of have to reframe your mind to look at it from a positive light. Even when you're in a rough spot or you just keep suffering failure after failure, it's not really that bad because you can always learn something from it. Failing is really only bad if you let it stop you and you gain nothing from it. So you have to learn how to gain something from every situation. And trust me when I tell you that there's a lot to learn from failing. One of the wisest philosophers of our time, aka the rapper Fabulous, said in his hit song Diamonds, "Taught to be a winner, but I learned more from my losses." An easy way to think about this with failure specifically is every time you fail, you learn a new way not to do the thing. And I know that sounds silly, but the reality is that it works. It's like process of elimination, right? You're just figuring out what doesn't work. And if you do that long enough, eventually you will find something that does. And on top of that, failing teaches you a lot about yourself because you learn resilience, you learn determination, and you learn that good things don't come easy and they take hard work. It's all about perspective. Tip 3 is seek feedback. This one is kind of related to the first one because when you're good at something, when you know a lot about something, then you're confident with that thing. So as you learn, as you get better, then you also start to become more confident. The thing is that when you're doing something or trying to achieve something, you're often too close to it to see the bigger picture. So feedback helps because a person on the outside can give you a wider perspective and they can see things that you don't. They have a neutral perspective, so they're able to see what's good in what you're doing, what's bad in what you're doing, and how you can improve what you're doing. So creating these feedback loops can help you improve. And the faster you improve, the faster you gain confidence. Truthfully, this is something that I've kind of been struggling with YouTube because everybody's just so damn nice in the comments section. And even like my family and friends, everybody's like, oh, great video, this is awesome. And don't get me wrong, it's great. I love it that they're supportive, but nobody's actually telling me like, hey, maybe you should try this, or hey, maybe you should try that, or you could do this a little better. Maybe slow down when you're talking because I know I talk too fast. But the feedback I've received is overwhelmingly positive, which is awesome. Truthfully, like I'm glad they like my videos, but I'm just not learning how I can make them better. Now hold on, I'm not saying that I want you to go into the comments and just tear my shit apart. But if you could provide a neutral perspective on what I can do to improve it, I would appreciate that, so thank you. Okay, tip number 4, keep a journal. Now, journaling is a very powerful tool. It can help you keep track of goals, it can help you improve your skills, but what it can also do is help you navigate negative thoughts. You know, whenever we're feeling bad about ourselves, or we're just not feeling confident, or maybe we're feeling like timid, low self-esteem, anything like that, we tend to internalize those things, right? Like we keep them inside, we try to shove them down deep because that's not me and that's not who I want to be. But when you try to push things down, it's almost like you're just becoming a deeper part of who you are. The beauty about journaling your negative thoughts is that when you put pen to paper, it creates this sort of separation between what you're feeling and the real situation. And that separation is key to analyzing things from a neutral perspective. And if you don't have anyone that can give you feedback, this helps you do it on your own. So basically, once you've addressed your feelings on the page, it's almost like you can kind of let them go, right? Like you're free from them. You've put them down somewhere, you've acknowledged them, and they're there. You didn't just ignore them, which is what you don't want to do. You wrote about them, you reviewed it, now you can move about your day. This one maybe is more about helping you feel less self-conscious or less timid, as opposed to it is about making you feel more confident. But I mean, it's kind of the same thing if you really think about it, right? So if you haven't started journaling, I highly recommend it. One thing I will say is if you're new to journaling, don't go out and try to buy some fancy ass journal for like $45 because they're out there, I promise. The one I'm using right now is from Walmart. 10, 15 bucks at most, if even that. Just get something that you know you're gonna write in. If it feels good, looks good, that's all you need. Tip number 5, practice positive self-talk and visualization. Now, I'm not really talking about like affirmations or manifestation. I categorize that as almost a belief system that you have to have in order for it to really work for you. But what I do think is that the mind is a powerful thing, and the way that you talk to yourself and the way that you see yourself can manifest into the way that you do things and your ability to accomplish things. Whatever you tell yourself, whatever you see yourself, has a higher likelihood of presenting itself in your life. So if I'm always scared about getting sick, I'm probably going to get sick because it's always on my mind. But on the flip side of that, if I always tell myself that I'm going to be successful and I'm going to achieve my goals and I'm going to reach all of my dreams, it's almost like you trick your mind into believing those things. So your mind in turn turns you into the person that can do all those things. It's kind of like the placebo effect. If you've never heard of it, it's essentially this medical phenomenon that doctors have seen in patients where they give them a fake pill and tell them that it's going to cure XYZ, and it often does. For example, there was a study done in 2002 where patients with a cough were separated into 2 groups. One of them got cough medicine and one of them got a pill that was just like rice water or something, I don't know. But it wasn't medicine. It was a placebo. And what's crazy is that even though they didn't receive real medicine, they still saw an 85% success rate in reducing their cough. That's insane, but that's the power of the mind. Their mind really thought they were getting medicine for the cough, and so they expected that the cough was going to go away, and because their mind believed that, it did. So it's kind of the same thing with being confident, right? If you tell yourself often enough that you're a confident person, your mind will believe it, and you will become a confident person. My throat is dry, hold on. Okay, tip number 6 is gonna be don't be afraid to dive into the deep end. All right, this is where the hate comments might start coming in, but the reality is, at some point, you just gotta do the thing. If you want to do a certain thing but you're not feeling confident or just feeling self-conscious or whatever it may be, at some point you just kind of have to push past it and do the thing that you want to do. You have to put yourself out there. Part of confidence, right? Part of believing in yourself is believing in yourself that you can try. You will never feel confident in doing something that you never tried to do. Andrew Huberman, the famous neuroscientist who I'm sure you're all familiar with, actually has this great quote that says, confidence is a reflection of the amount of work you've put into something. It's like a mental muscle. And how do you make muscles stronger? By working them out. So in this scenario, you work out your confidence muscle by doing the things that make you feel not confident. And I fully recognize that it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but the reality is that if you're not confident in something, you build confidence in that thing by doing the thing. During my research for this video, I actually came across another great quote by Alex Malley, who's an Australian CEO and author of the book, The Naked CEO. It's kind of long, so bear with me, but in it he said, the only way to build self-confidence is to take a risk and take action despite your fear of failure, messing up, or embarrassment. If things work out, then you know you can do more than you think. If things don't work out, then you know you can handle more than you think. Either way, you're better off. And I think that sums it up beautifully, because if you're not confident, the best way to combat that is to take it head on. Do more things that make you feel self-doubt. Be willing to fail more. Be willing to look foolish for the sake of improving. If we're being honest, nobody starts off knowing what they're doing. But if you never start, you'll never know what you're doing. You'll never get better. And if you never get better, you'll never be confident. One thing I definitely don't recommend you do is fake it till you make it. Doing that can really create more problems than it solves, and I explain why in this video. I also offer an alternate recommendation, so check that out if you're interested in hearing more. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.